This is the Chinese anarchist He-Yin Zhen. In 1907, she advocated the abolition of gender. In Confucianism, which is a traditional Chinese system of thought, what we call the gender binary was conceptualized via the idea of nannü, which can be translated as man-woman. In Confucianism, the concept of nannü was used by male thinkers to render the inequalities between men and women as inherent aspects of the natural world that should not be changed. He-Yin took the patriarchal concept of nannü and reforged it into a tool of emancipation. For He-Yin, nannü refers to the social system under which human action continually produces and reproduces the division of human beings into the distinct social categories of men and women, alongside their accompanying roles and the specific social relations that both constitute and interconnect them. She viewed the emergence of patriarchy as the history of how men created political and moral institutions, the first priority of which was to separate man from woman, and thereby came to consider the differentiation between man and woman as one of the major principles in heaven and on earth. These divisions between men and women either did not exist prior to the creation of patriarchy, such as women's subservience to men, or were built upon previously existing differences which hitherto had not been of supreme importance and did not determine a person's social positioning within a relationship of domination and subordination, such as men's control of women's capacity to have children. Crucially, in both cases, these divisions were created by human action and were not, as people under patriarchy thought, inherent in the natural order. There are two important features of nannü as a concept. Firstly, it holds that man and woman cannot be understood in isolation, but must instead be defined in terms of one another. This is because man and woman are two aspects of a single whole, the man-woman relation. To be a man is to not be a woman, and to not engage in womanly behaviour, and vice versa. Part of being a man or a woman is the set of social relations that you stand in with members of the opposite category, such as the actual and socially prescribed relationships between husband and wife, father and daughter, brother and sister, male emperor and female concubine, and so on. Secondly, it holds that men and women are not static fixed entities, but are rather ongoing processes that change over time. What it is for an individual to be a woman will change between the 16th and 19th century, or will change as a woman moves from being a child to an adult, and from unmarried to widowed. These changes to womanhood can be brought about by women themselves, such as He-Yin changing her own sense of being a woman through the creation of anarchist theory. This can be seen in He-Yin's view that part of why women must emancipate themselves is because it develops their character as women and enables them to unlearn the passivity that they have been socialized into. If this is true, then nannü can be changed to the point that it ceases to exist. For He-Yin, the emancipation of men and women requires the abolition of nannü as a social system. She wrote, "Men and women are both humans. By saying men, naxing, and women, nuxing, we are not speaking of nature, as each is but the outcome of differing social customs and education. If sons and daughters are treated equally, raised and educated in the same manner, then the responsibilities assumed by men and women will surely become equal. When that happens, the nouns men and women would no longer be necessary. This is ultimately the equality of men and women of which we speak." It is easy for people in the 21st century to imagine that the ideas they are having are original and haven't been had before. Yet the idea of gender abolition was advocated as early as 1907 by a Chinese anarchist called He-Yin Zhen. As always, the sources are in the description.